All right, you beautiful creatures in all the universes out there. The Puerto Rican princess has returned. Upon popular demand, she's returning. Johannes Godinez. I keep saying it. Am I saying it right? Godinez?
God, Godinez, yeah?
Godinez, okay.
You're getting better.
How are you doing there, Puerto Rican princess?
I'm doing good. I'm
Very good.
refreshed.
Yes. Okay. So just so you know, we missed a few weeks there. Johanna took her parents. That was a great trip too. Took your parents on a cruise. Some great videos. You dancing with your father. I saw the one up there dancing on stage.
Yeah, we did a father-daughter dance.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool. So is that kind of like just something you hadn't done in a while, wanted to do, some special occasion, or?
So his girlfriend had a big birthday, and she would kill me if I said how old she turned. But so she had a big birthday, and I wanted to throw her a birthday party, and she wouldn't let me. So for her and my dad's birthday, I took them on the cruise. Yeah.
Very nice. Oh, that's right. So it was the girlfriend, and so yeah, okay. And how long have your parents been divorced? Do you mind me asking all that? Kind of getting real personal.
Oh God, I was like 8.
Okay, that's right. We
Yeah,
talked.
my dad's been divorced 3 times. He never got married to this one, and I think that's why they've lasted so long.
How long has he been with his girlfriend?
14 years.
So, okay, so your father gets divorced 3 times, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you ever do you say to yourself, "Oh, Dad, what are you doing?" Or it's
with the last one I did.
Oh, okay. How long did that one last?
10 years. He was on a 10-year thing.
Oh,
10
okay.
year, 10 year.
But yeah. So the good side is he's disciplined. He's got discipline.
He does. He has discipline.
Yes.
No, I think people grow out of things, So yeah, I think a lot of marriages that happens, like if you're not growing together and you're growing individually, it's hard to, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, and I'm sure you're not either.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where sometimes it's hard. And as a personal belief, I don't think we're meant to be with partners our whole lives. We're not penguins.
Isn't that true? I have friends that have been married 50 years or whatever it is, a long time, whatever. And I really say to him, I said, you don't understand how amazing that is. Either you're totally miserable or you're meant to be together. So yeah. I know.
Yeah. Not everyone finds their for life mate. And I think that's okay too. It is what it is.
It's funny because I have learned, and you've helped me learn this, just in general, but particularly with 2 ex-wives. I don't ever look at them and shouldn't have done it or made a mistake or whatever. Yeah, my first 2, first one I had my 2 sons with, so that was fantastic. My second ex-wife was a fantastic person. She wanted to have children. I made the decision not to have more, so I looked at it. It was a fantastic experience. She's a great person, still is. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing about it. The guy that I was living in New York with, when we had met, I told him I didn't want children, but then 5 years later, he decided he did want children, and now he's got 2 beautiful children. So it's wonderful. But I'm not having children. I'm not changing my mind for anybody.
And see, I think that's great too. I know we talked about that before, whether it's children, whatever the heck it is. But it's don't you think if you change something that's really important to you for somebody else, then it just never seems to work, right? I mean, it's now you're bitter because you've had to change your life for somebody else. Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing about relationships. Sometimes you see the red flags and you say, well, I'm going to help this person change, or I'm going to hope that they change. And it's if they even do change and they do it for you, they're going to resent you for it. So it's not.
See, that's a great topic. Okay. So let's say you've had somebody in your life for a long time. Maybe it's a past relationship, friends, whatever. And you see something in them. Okay. Let's say it's a man and a woman, former girlfriend enters back in your life again, but she's got some things now, obviously I'm talking about myself. So I've now evolved. I'm not trying to say I'm better than her or whatever. I've now changed the way I look at life. And she is the way she was in the past. So I keep thinking to myself, well, I'll help her. Right. I'm thinking, okay, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
No, that's one thing when I got into this world of health and wellness and helping people with their mindset. I was very attached to whether or not I could actually create the change within the person. And it took me a few years to understand that that isn't my job. My job is to provide tools, but it is their job to implement the tools and to decide what works for them and what doesn't. And if they're not ready to change, or if they're complacent with the way that they
Yeah.
are, or if
Yeah.
they're resisting change in any way, then it's not up to me. It's up to them. And
Right.
it took me a while to be okay with that. And I think again, yoga has teaches non-attachment. So that's a huge part of like why I still do what I do, even when I know some people go through my programs and they stay exactly the same. But others do change and others do improve their lives.
So
So
you're saying like, okay, this is your universe. You can only do what you think is right in your universe. You can't control what everybody else is doing in your universe.
exactly. And that's not your job. Like your job is to do, but the result of it isn't necessarily
I know.
under your control.
See, I've learned that. I love this conversation because for me, I think I've always had that wanting to help people in the past, and
Mhm.
thinking that. And sometimes I've heard comments like, "Oh, you're controlling" or whatever. And I've come to realize now, well,
Mm.
no, I'm not. Maybe I've evolved. Well, I have evolved. There's no question. It's more okay. This is my universe. I now know what I want in my universe very clearly.
Mm.
I know how I want to act. I know about respect on both sides and everything. So I'm not telling somebody else that okay, you need to change, but I'm saying okay, if you're going to be in my universe, this is the way it is, right? Right.
Yeah, and that's called boundaries. You know,
Yeah,
you understanding and establishing boundaries, and I think that that's really important, and it's something that a lot of people have a hard time doing. And once you evolve or mature in some way, you understand like there's certain boundaries that I'm not willing to cross, and I'm not willing to let anybody else cross, and still have them be welcome in my life.
definitely. Okay, a couple of topics I want to cover. So I'm going to say them both so I don't forget. One is baby in the stroller, so we'll come back to that one.
Whoa.
Um, and the other one was The Matrix with when Keanu Reeves' character learned. There's a scene where he learned not just to avoid the bullets, but that he could stop the bullets. Do you know what
Mm.
you remember that?
Hmm. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
see, and again, one of those things like one of the great things, and I know you know this already. Like I feel like I know so much, and then I start to learn more. Like I'm thinking, okay, I didn't understand that before fully. Like the whole concept about just don't avoid the bullets. It's your universe. You allow what happens in your universe, right? So, here's how I look at it. Uh, like, there's the big topic, is somebody will say, well, like, why is this always happening to me or poor?
Mm.
And I'd like for you to touch on my take is on it more. Things happen in your life. Whether you want to look at it that it's happening to you is how you react to it. And you're in control of that. Is that pretty accurate, do you think?
Yeah, like we can't control everything that happens out here, but we can control our reaction
Right.
and what we do about what happens. And that's really the only thing we can control. So oftentimes when things happen over and over again, we're basically manifesting them because of the way that we're thinking about them. So
Right.
I give this example. It's not always the best example, but let's say that there's a person that has a partner that doesn't treat them well. And then they say to themselves, well, the next person that I want in my life, I don't want them to treat me this way. And I don't want them to be like this. And I don't want them to be like that. But at no point in time are they thinking, I want this person to have these qualities and I want them to have these other qualities. So you're attracting what you don't want because that's what you're looking at. You're not looking at what you do want. So
Right.
it's a small shift, but it has huge impact.
Right. So it's like that manifested where, let's say somebody wants to get pregnant and they can't get pregnant and they keep saying, oh, why am I going through this? Why can't I get pregnant? Instead of saying, I will be a great mother when I'm pregnant, or that.
Yes, that's exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to be seeing the result as already happened, not what you don't want happening and seeing that over and over again.
Right. Uh, so do you think you're the master of your universe?
Absolutely.
Cool. See,
Yeah.
I bet you if we ask most people though, would they say yes?
Uh-uh.
Right. Right.
No. But but it's again, like I'm very lucky that I grew up with parents that were very different. Like my mother was very much society dictates what we do. So she got married, had the child, had a steady job, retired from that job. Whereas my dad was starting businesses. Like he decided to be a landscaping artist one day and just bought a bunch of plants and started landscaping. And
Right.
so like I got to see both sides of the coin, and most people don't grow up in that environment. Most people grow up in an environment where society dictates what they do. Like I'm lucky enough where I learned that I can make my own rules, and I've lived that way. But it isn't easy, and I think
Right.
that that's the part that most people, the easy path is, yeah, I can get a job and I can get a steady paycheck and I can know exactly how much money is in my bank account all the time. Yeah, that's the easier way to do it. Like for me, I have to work really hard for what I get, but then I get to love what I do. So
Right.
yeah,
So you're lucky you grew up that way. So that's part of the reason you are the way you are now. But
yeah.
the way your lifestyle now is was also a contributor too, right? Like did it more, even more pound away in your head that I am the boss of my universe, right? Like you see, like, right? Is that a big part of it?
Yeah, yeah, and like I don't listen to what other people have to say.
Right.
Like I make up my own mind, and I honestly don't care about your opinion. I can discuss your opinion, I can have a conversation about it, but it's not going to necessarily impact how
Right.
I think.
Right. So it's kind of like that's the thing I got when I watched the video of Keanu Reeves with the bullets. It's weird, right? With that movie, how there's so many things when you first watch it, and you're not really in tune to what's going on. It's like, okay, that's cool. He's dodging bullets or he's stopping bullets, whatever. But then you
Yeah.
start to understand the meaning. And that was really, it was just the other day too. I was watching this go, okay, now I finally get it. Like as much as I think I get it, then I realized, okay, I really didn't get it totally. Right now I'm learning more about it. And I thought it was pretty cool. So it's saying, you are in control. I'm mentoring a young boy here locally. He's a young hockey player. And he lives right in the same complex. So we've got a gym. So I go down to the gym with him. And he's only 16. So I'm trying to say to him, a little bit at a time, listen, you're in control, right? So like even when we're working out, like I'm there with him. So sometimes he relies on me like to get the weights and like that. I said, listen, you've got to learn. This is your universe. I'll be here with you, but you determine like whatever weight you want to lose. That's up to you. It's not up to Tom to tell you what weight to use and all that kind of stuff. So I do find like I wouldn't have taught before that way at all. Like I didn't see that part of it, how much that can mentally help kids. So
Yeah,
cool.
and I think most people don't see things that way, because if you
Yeah.
think about how we grow up in society, like we're taught literally to stand in line, to
Yeah.
follow the crowd. Like if you do what you're told, you're good. If you don't do what you're told, you're bad.
Right.
And that like gets majorly ingrained in your brain, whereas then later in life nobody needs to tell you. And like now it's like you keep yourself in the box because
Right.
these walls got put in there, but now you're the only one that's sustaining them. So
Right. Yeah. There's another video I saw too. A guy was in a cage, kind of a futuristic kind of cage. He says, once you realize that the bars are your thoughts, then you can get out of the cage, right? So that's what you're saying. You think you're in this cage, but
yeah.
you're only there because you're telling yourself you're in that cage.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that happens a lot when you have like those repetitive thoughts in your mind that hold you back.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the only thing that's holding you back is the thought that you can't do it.
Right.
Like they take that thought out of the equation and then start seeing the opportunities and the possibilities, and then it's
And like you
endless.
said too, like it's kind of what happens is where your comfort zone is that
Mm.
where you're saying you can't do it. Like we've been ingrained in us so much saying we can't do it. That's the comfort zone. So to break out of that comfort zone is uncomfortable, right?
It
I mean,
is uncomfortable.
yeah.
Yeah, like for example, like when I mentor people in starting new businesses, like the first thing that I tell them is don't quit your job. And that's totally counterintuitive to them. But I'm like, okay, if you start a business and you depend on the business, the amount of pressure that you put on the business already is setting it up for failure. Whereas if you allow it to grow and develop in a way that's sustainable for the business, then once it can pay you, you quit your job.
Right.
Like that's and that's just that way you don't have to worry about how your bills are going to get paid while you have the stress of starting a new business.
Right. So like you said before, there's a lot of people out there that don't believe the way you believe, the way I've come to believe. So when you teach people, are you careful not to try to push it too hard on them? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Oh, you are. Okay.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah,
feel
and
like
I'm very mindful of what they believe. Like, for example, I don't see God the way most people see God, but if you call it God, then I'm going to call it God. If you call it the universe, I'll call it the universe. Like, I
Right.
have no attachment to what we call anything, right?
Right.
So, but I'm going to speak your language in order for you to be able to understand me, because if I speak a different language, then you're going to resist everything that I say from the get-go.
Yeah, you're gonna think this is craziness, right? Like she's talking
Hmm.
crazy stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny because I have found that too, where I now believe much more in the stuff you're talking about. Well, to the point where I'm a huge believer, but I do realize I'm careful because I'm watching people. I'm thinking they don't quite get it, which is fine. Like you
That's
said,
fine.
they believe what they want to believe. Well, we got a couple of fantastic people want to say hello to here. Dougie DeVito
Hi, Doug.
and our girl Deb. She's a big fan of ours. Deb she lives out in Midwest. I'm awful, Deb. I keep forgetting where you live, but she'll let her know. Okay, the baby in the stroller. So fantastic video, and again, I would not have maybe gone as far with this in the past as I feel like I have now. So this it seems like it's a real video. You know, who knows now? It could be an AI, but it seems like it's for real. So families at a grave site, and babies in the stroller. Babies looks like maybe a year old or whatever, and so the baby, just have the video of the baby, and it's in front of the grave, the burial stone and everything, and the baby's waving at the gravestone, and it's looking up in the sky like somebody is going up, and the baby's like it's interacting with something that really isn't there, or that other people can't see. So part of the way I look at it is, okay, so because the baby hasn't been around long enough to get its brain infected with all the stuff that we get infected with, its mind is wide open and really believes that she can really, the baby boy or girl can really see whatever she believes she sees. Is that how you feel about it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot that we can't explain, and there's a lot that, like, our brain can only see certain light, hear
Right.
certain wavelengths. Like, how come there's something that a dog can hear that we can't hear?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
just because we can't hear doesn't mean it's not making a sound. The dog can hear it.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, when you think about that, then you know that there's things that, like, your brain just doesn't have the capacity to process. And then you start to understand, okay, well,
Right.
our brain also has a much higher capacity than what we're using. So it's easy to understand why some people are more psychic than others. Yeah, because they're like utilizing separate parts of their brain, or they just know how to utilize certain parts better than other people. And
Sure.
like thinking that that doesn't exist, like it doesn't serve anyone really.
Right. And do you think like with a baby and a dog, good example, they don't overcomplicate things. It's like, okay, I don't, if I believe in what I'm like, the baby believed in what the baby was seeing. So
Mhm.
the baby wasn't thinking, no, I'm really not seeing it. I am seeing it. And that's it. Cause she's not, yeah. Kind of tells you something, right? Like you want to be intelligent, but you also want to be a little bit like I have learned to like, I've learned to say, you know what? I believe it. It doesn't matter if I make sense or not. I believe it. And
Yeah.
if I'm wrong in believing what I'm believing, then okay, it really hasn't ruined my life or something. I've proven to be wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and honestly, being open-minded is so
Yeah.
beautiful, because
Yeah.
then you actually get to learn a lot more. Like
Yeah.
the more you think like what I know is the way and what I know is truth and everybody else is wrong, like that's so limiting for
I know.
that person. Like it doesn't limit anybody else, it limits them because they think
Right.
that way. So
Right.
being more open-minded is amazing. Plus it allows conversations, like even on the cruise, I was in a hot tub with someone who's like, the only way to be saved is to allow Christ in your life, because Christ is the savior. And I was like, that's great. And it's great that it saved you from alcoholism, and it's great that it saved your life. I just, for me, like, Christ is love and it represents love. And if that's, like, for me, it's embodying love. You can call it what you want, but I see it in a different way. But I'm not dogging the way that you're seeing
Yeah.
it, because it's serve you. And as long as it serves the person, it just, sometimes our beliefs that no longer serve us, and we still hold on to them because our inability to recognize how it's not serving us, and we can't let it go. And that's really what again, it's one of those cages that we're literally putting on ourselves that
Yeah.
don't allow us to grow and evolve.
Well, one was saying I saw recently, the person that if they believe in their comfort zone, even if that what they believe they know is wrong, they would rather believe what is wrong then get out of their comfort zone and believe what is the truth, right?
Yeah, and that's an ego thing too, you know, like you don't want to admit that you were wrong, but like
Yeah,
everyone's wrong at some
I
point or
know.
another. So there's nothing wrong with being wrong. Like it's part of life. Like how many times did you have to do the wrong thing to learn how to do
I
it
know.
properly? Like it's just a part
It,
of growth.
even like that conversation we have right now is more thinking, okay, what is wrong? Like, okay, so I made a decision, it didn't work out. Was I wrong, or did it just not work out the way I wanted it to? Right?
Yeah.
And maybe it was the right decision. It just the universe just wasn't ready for you to be, have it work out for you. Yeah,
Yeah, this whole paradox of having to have opposites in order to be able
yeah,
to understand our
yeah.
environment and stuff is kind of kooky, and language makes it worse, right? Because we believe that some words have meaning and have these definitive meanings that don't exist. Like, and we've talked about this before, like the word failure. Like the word failure is a concept. It doesn't exist. Like there is no such thing as a failure unless you believe that it is so.
Right.
Otherwise, like you
Yeah,
failed at
right,
something, but you started something else. Okay,
right.
so was it a failure or was it a stepping
Yeah,
stone
totally.
or was it a
Like,
learning experience, right?
right. So it kind of goes back to like you're deciding that it's a failure. Nobody else is deciding it's a failure. You're deciding. Right.
Yeah.
That's where see that's the part that's really fascinating. What I've seen me learning more lately is that ability to control your own universe
Mm.
by like you said, everybody else in the world can say, "Well, you failed." Like I look back at things I've done in my life too. Like when I tried out for the Canadian Olympic team and went and got drunk the night before training camp and put furniture on top of the trainer's car. And I go, okay, that was pretty stupid. But then I look back, okay, yeah, but you know what though? That was a blast. First of all, it wasn't probably the smartest thing to do, but it was fun. And I went back to college and had a fantastic year because I recognized, okay, I messed up, or I did something I probably shouldn't have done, and now I had to make up for it. So it's like, yeah, it's the whole concept of how I get. And I do think this is funny because I've used this term before, like this thoroughly blissful ignorance that I've lived in a lot of times. Now I used to laugh at myself because of it. Now I think, well, that's pretty cool actually to be just like, okay, like have that attitude. Oh, hey, well, it's done. Let's just move forward and get going. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people that have that are very successful because
Yeah.
they don't see how much the odds are stacked against them. So then
Yeah.
they just keep
Yeah.
moving and then
Yeah.
they make it. Like my
Right.
dad has someone that used to work for him. He's a Dominican man who can barely read and write. And he
Right.
has millions of dollars worth of property here in Puerto Rico that he
Right.
rents out because when my dad was having a hard time like 25, 30 years ago, he used to mow our lawn. And my dad said, I can't afford to pay you right now. I'm going through some changes in my life. And he's like, you know what? I'll keep mowing your lawn, but I have some questions about these properties that you buy and how you do this. And the
Oh.
man is a millionaire now who can barely
So
read and
he
write.
so for him to cut the lawn, he used your father's knowledge what he was doing because he really well.
Yeah, he was like, instead of paying me, let me sit with you and ask you questions and learn about this
Oh, see,
thing that you do.
that's smart, man. That's brilliant, really. I mean,
Yeah,
who else would think of that? Like, that's really a smart thing to do.
yeah.
Wow.
And it's crazy because most people, like, if they have no skin in the game, they don't take it seriously. Like free advice is never taken well by anyone, but tell someone that they need to give you $100 and they'll listen.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where this person knew that there was something to what he was doing, even though he was seeing that he was struggling at that moment in time because of what he was doing. He could see, like, okay, but what he's building in the long run is going to help him, and I
Right.
want to learn how to help
Right.
myself doing that as well.
And like you said too, he probably didn't overthink it too. He just thought, okay, well, I can't get paid. I'll still cut the line and I'll get some free advice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like don't know. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I know. Is that true? That is true. When I look back at my life too, man, some of the best decisions I ever made was really not making a decision, just doing it. Not thinking
yeah,
about it too much. And some of the things that I look back on that I missed was when I overthought things. Right? It's just like, yeah, you beat yourself up over it. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, Let me see here. A great Barry Shelley, the veteran from Cooperstown, New York. I've been wrong so many times, but treated it as a learning experience. Yep.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you learn something from it, then is it wrong? Like, is it
Yeah, I know.
failure? Like,
But you're right. But the whole concept about right and wrong, again, it goes back to, okay, but you decide whether it's right or wrong. Like, don't
yeah,
listen to other people, right? That's the, right.
yeah. I mean, it's all an opinion, anyways. So you can change your mind.
Yeah, no kidding. How's the great Leo doing? Your husband?
Good. He's
How's his
getting
back?
back surgery in a few months, so
Okay.
yeah,
Good. Yeah,
we're working
fantastic.
on that.
Good.
Yeah,
And so, who went on the cruise then? So your father, his girlfriend, and
and
you.
his
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Okay, good. So let's get this straight. So you're kind of like the third wheel. Is that what it was?
I guess you could call it that.
Yeah, but you were dancing up a storm. I saw you dancing. So
It was so much fun though. It was really a blast. Like
uh,
my dad hadn't taken a vacation for a while, so I know he appreciated it.
very good, very good. And so this is his. So he's been married and divorced 3 times. He's not married to this woman. They're happy. There's no need to get married. They're fine with that.
Yeah, I told him, I'm like, I think third time's a charm, Dad. No reason to get married at this point.
Oh, it is funny. Well, so my sons, who I love to death, they're 35 and 32 now, so they're more mature and get their own lives going, very successful in business, the whole bit. So I've done things in the past that I really didn't like. So my second wife, for example, was a fantastic person. She wanted a child very badly. I did not. We got divorced. She then went through the whole in vitro thing and got pregnant. And because we had been so close, there was really we didn't argue. In fact, we had a fantastic marriage. It was just she trusted me enough. She wanted me to be the birth coach. I don't know if I ever told you the story. So I was the birth
Oh,
coach.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I didn't think much of it. In fact, I thought it was kind of an honor that, my ex-wife thought enough of me to be the birth coach. So, it's funny when we sit, and then there's obviously been other relationships and all that kind of stuff. So when we get together, like for Thanksgiving, for example, if they sit around and start telling little stories, they paint the picture of their father like he's, this philanthropist or whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. All these, I'm raising somebody else's kids and all this kinds of stuff. And I look at it like now I look at it, it's kind of funny, but I got, well, yeah, some great experiences. I really, did some good things. Yeah, it was funny.
And again, I think if you believe it's an honor, then it's an honor. If you believe it's weird, then it's weird. Like it's whatever meaning you decide to give it, that's what it is.
And it goes back to, I know we've talked about this many times. And if you try to please everybody else, somebody's always going to find a way to criticize it, right? It's like,
Yeah. And that's how I think of perfection too. Like you can think something's perfect, but like if nobody else does, is it perfect? Is it not? It doesn't matter. Does perfection even exist? What does that even mean? What are the parameters of it? Like it's just all of that is just a construct.
And you've got a big event coming up. Aren't you guys doing one of your little ayahuasca outings? Is that how we're going to title it?
In October we have a retreat in Peru. Myself and one of my students who's a really amazing lawyer. So we're taking a group of about 15 people down to Sacred Valley, Peru, with a really beautiful shaman. Her name is Selva, and
And you've done this yourself with the shaman, the same shaman? You've done it yourself?
She has experienced it with that shaman specifically. I went in the Amazon. I'm a little more rough around the edges, so I went in the jungle.
Oh, okay. So you guys got together and say, let's do a what do you call? How would you term what you're doing? An outing?
It's a plant medicine retreat.
Okay, retreat.
Yeah. But we rented a really beautiful space that's like really high end, and like that wasn't the experience that I had. I was roughing it in with latrines and with no hot water and
Okay, and you enjoyed that better, being roughing it like that?
I mean, I enjoy that lifestyle. Like I don't have any issues with that. Like I've done a lot of volunteering in places like that too that don't really have electricity and things, and like I think I'm pretty good at survival skills. So
So the retreat now is your people are going to the retreat for a purpose. They're wanting to learn about themselves, maybe solve some issues with themselves. Do you think it's more successful? I guess it's everybody's opinion, obviously, to be out more like in a woodsy kind of thing, or like a fancy retreat, or do you think you're going to get the shaman?
To be honest, I think the shaman makes a bigger difference than anything else. I love being in nature, so like literally feeling like I'm sleeping outside, like I like that and I enjoy that. But if someone like doesn't like bugs and doesn't like being dirty and wants warm water, like that's not really gonna be good for them, So.
Because like if you're uncomfortable and then you're not getting what you should be getting out of the whole retreat.
Yeah, because you're going to be thinking about things that aren't really mattering in that moment in time.
Right. My youngest son, I don't know if he sees this or not, Cody, but he's going to go on a retreat in a couple of months. I actually sent him your information and everything too. He's got a buddy of his that, you know how it goes, like when somebody else goes and your friends, you kind of feel like, oh, you feel a comfort level. But he was like that too. He's not a big bug guy. And at first they were thinking of going to a place that you kind of talked about that you'd like. And then we sat down and said, let's be honest, that's just not your thing. And he was great. He knew it too. Yeah. I mean, like I'll sit in the
Yeah,
back.
I mean, there's nothing wrong. Just be honest with yourself, you know, like what are you comfortable with, and just know that that's going to make a big difference on your experience.
Right. Okay. So you go on the retreat. How many people do you plan on having?
15.
15. So you go on the retreat with 15 people. You fly into Peru.
Mhm.
You go to this resort. And then how many days are you there?
9 days.
9 days. And so the ayahuasca is the drug. Do we call it a drug or do we call it
Medicine.
medicine? Ayahuasca is medicine. So clarify for me. There's psilocybins, there's toad poison, all those kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
Ayahuasca is in that category. Is it a hallucinogen?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
you're going there with a purpose. Like, so does the shaman do like a bunch of ceremonies and everything before you actually take the medicine?
Yeah, like we do like a one-on-one cleanse. We do this thing to read your energy that they do with an egg. You do a dieta, so you're on a diet for a month where
Oh,
you're not eating meat, not taking drugs, any type of drugs, not smoking, not drinking, not having sex. Like there's a lot
whoa,
of
whoa,
things that
whoa,
you
whoa,
restrict.
whoa! No sex for a month?
And at least 2 weeks.
You better have some serious mental issues. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I mean it's sexual energy is really powerful. So you want to
You're
have that
so you're
with you.
saving up the sexual energy.
Mhm.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're attempting to be as full of energy and life and as clean as you can be when you get there.
So all these other drugs and alcohol and everything kind of really affects that. So you're getting rid of all that out of your system. So what's there is like all natural.
Yeah. And then there's people that are stopping some medications because there's certain
Right.
medications that are counter indicated with it. So even St. John's wort or ashwagandha, like those are natural medicines, but still they can have an effect. Definitely SSRI inhibitors, like
Right.
antidepressants and stuff like that. So we make sure that people have plenty of time because you can't just stop taking your antidepressants. Like
Right.
you need to have a doctor slowly taper you off. But if someone feels like, they've been using it as a crutch for a long period of time and they want to find ways to better heal. Yeah. And again, like ayahuasca is something that you're never going to say to someone, I think you should go to an ayahuasca retreat, because that's not really how it works. Like the plant should speak to you in some way. It shouldn't be like, oh, my friend did it, they think it's great, so I want to do it too. Like it's a very intense experience,
Right.
and you should be ready and you should be called to do it, not just, oh, I heard about it,
Right.
so I want to go
So
try
like,
it. Like
yeah. So if you're really not into it totally, like really sunk yourself into it, just you're not going to get the full benefit from it. Is that?
no, no,
Yeah.
no. Yeah,
Okay.
there needs to be like a clear intention,
Right.
and you need to be what I call called by the plant. Like it needs to somehow be something that like you've been called to do, not
Right.
something that someone suggested that you do.
And
It's
you're
not
there
really.
9 days.
Hmm.
And how many days are you doing the ayahuasca every day?
Every other day.
Oh, okay. Wow. And so, like, so does everybody do it at the same time? Like, you all sit around and do ayahuasca together?
Hmm.
And is it like, so, okay, now I'm being stupid, obviously, here. So I'm back in college or whatever. We're doing mushrooms. It's funny. We're all sitting around laughing, right? Is it
No, it's not a laughing kind of matter.
okay?
And it's very different because like everyone has like a little station, if you want to call it that, where they have a bed and a blanket and pillows and a puke bucket because you definitely purge. And then the shaman is moving the energy around the room. So like if they feel like someone's having a really hard time, then they come to them and they sing something called Icaros, and they'll sing to that person to help them move the energy through that person. So it's not a recreational thing. Like ayahuasca isn't something that you say, "Hey guys, let's all get together
Right.
and go do
Right.
some ayahuasca."
Right.
Like that's just not how
Get
that works.
get the munchies after and have some donuts. It's not exactly.
Yeah, no, no,
Uh,
not even close.
okay, so you go into it and obviously do all these things. So the more open you are to and receive, okay, I'm looking forward to this. I really there's something I want to solve with myself. Like, but you've done this a number of times. You feel like every time you've done it, there's something that you need to work on with yourself.
At least I always feel like there's something I get out of it.
Okay.
Sometimes I have a lot more of an intention than others. Like my last ceremony, it wasn't so much that I had this huge intention. It was more like it was part of this retreat that I was on, and it was a milder dose
So
of it.
your mind was really just open to whatever came from the medicine. Is that
Yeah. But
okay?
having an intention is really important. Like if
Right.
you do have something that you want to work on, because otherwise it'll show you so much that it's overwhelming to really understand what it is that the message that you're receiving.
Oh, okay. So if you don't have an intention, is there sometimes where maybe it'll tell you what the intention is? I mean, you'll find out something there.
Yeah,
Right. Right. Okay.
but it's definitely better if you have the intention.
Right. Here's a great question by our buddy Danny Erickson. Is do people ever get nothing out of it?
I think I mean, in my experience, no, not really, because even when you get nothing, there's something to that. Like, for example, I have a teacher that I work with, and she was very resistant to it.
Mhm.
So she felt like a bird pecking at her head most of the time.
Oh,
And that helped her understand like how much she's shelled and how much like the plant was telling her like you need to thin out the shell, you need to release some of the shell, you need to crack the shell,
uh,
right? So even though it didn't speak to her, it didn't show her much, and it must have been very annoying to feel a bird pecking in your head for 4 hours,
yeah.
there's still something she got out of it. In the last one, there was someone who really wanted it to end, and it's the kind of thing that the more you resist it and the more you want it to end, the more that it's going to stick around.
Oh,
So that's also like your ability to sustain things or to put up with things. Like it's telling you that and I hate using this word, but you're weak in a way where like there's things about you that you need to strengthen your resilience, right? So it's like if you allow it to, it will always show you something.
right. Wow. So, okay. So, is it correct then in saying that the medicine is really opens you up and kind of relaxes you, and then the shaman helps bring out whatever needs to be brought out? Is that accurate to say it that way?
No, the medicine doesn't really relax you.
Oh,
It
okay.
it it definitely
Oh,
like activates a lot of things. The
oh,
shaman just moves the energy,
okay.
like like manipulates the energy to help like bring it up or bring it down. So they walk around a lot. There's this mapacho, which is like ceremonial tobacco. Like if they feel like they have to, they'll blow the tobacco on you. So there's like they know what they're doing. That's why I would never like I am not a shaman. I am not in any way certified or would ever be open to leading something like this. Like I know for a fact that like you have to be a very special kind of person to be able to sustain people going through this experience and to create a safe space for them.
When you say a special person, like educated in a special way, or you've got something inside you as a shaman that,
I mean, these people grow up with it. Like the shaman that I went to, like her mother was taking ayahuasca while she was pregnant, and while I was there, she was pregnant taking ayahuasca. So like these kids are they grow up in this environment with it is all they know. Like they
right,
connect to plants, they connect to the spirit of the earth. Like they are much more open to these things that we can't see, but we somehow have an inkling that they're there, and they grow up like in this environment where this is all they know. Like the woman was maybe in her 30s and her father was in his 70s, and these were the shamans, and her father started being a shaman when he was 12,
right.
and she just grew up in this environment. So it's people that literally their whole entire lives are dedicated to plant medicine.
Wow. Whew.
Yeah.
So, oh wow. So for like, okay, if I wanted to be a shaman, I can't just say, okay, I'm going to be a shaman. I'm going to learn. You've got to,
I mean, you can go to Peru and you can live with shamans. Like I've sat in ceremonies where someone's lived with shamans. He's from Canada and he lived with shamans for 10 years, but
oh,
he's actually got some of the most powerful icaros that I've ever felt in my life.
say that again. What
But
again? Most powerful one?
Icaros are the songs that they sing, and they're
Oh,
channeled songs
oh,
in the Shipibo language, which is a like a language from the jungles in Peru, it's a tribal
right,
language.
right,
Um so yeah, like you can say I want to be a shaman and I want to learn, but like it's a very intense
right,
process. Like you live with them for years and years and years. Like I have a friend that does Kambo, and in order for her to even be considered as someone who like is um like honorable enough to be taught to, she needed to spend 31 days in isolation in a treehouse in the jungle by herself.
really.
Hmm.
Wow. Hmm.
Yeah.
I guess in a weird way, I don't know if it's a good analogy or not. So I've grown up playing hockey all my life. So when I watch hockey, it's an instinct. I know what's going on. If somebody else will watch it, like I'll say something, they go, well, how'd you know that? Well, I've just done it my whole life. So it's probably a terrible analogy, but
Yeah, and you can probably see someone playing and be like, that person has talent and they
yeah,
probably have the ability to make it
right,
as a pro,
right,
right? And someone else would be like, well, like they're not even skating right. Yeah, but
yeah,
there's something about them, right?
yeah,
It's the same thing. Like there's this energy that you have to have that they can probably see, that an aura that they can see that
right.
you and I may not be able to
So
be.
you go through the 9 days then and leave. Um, I
And
guess
then there's
everybody.
an integration after.
Oh, okay,
So we do a lot of Zooms before and after to support everyone, and then there's integration sessions that
right,
you have with the shamans and then with us, to keep speaking of the things that you're seeing and the things that you're feeling and the things, because it's not something where like you get out of it and you're like, oh, my eyes are
right,
open, I learned all this about life. Like there's things that like come up even years later that you're like, oh my God, that's what the plant was attempting to show me.
right. So, like, again, I think I told you I had this buddy of mine who's a former Navy SEAL who did the toad poison and the psilocybins,
Yeah.
and back to back days. Now, is it the way he described it to me was it was this like super intense thing. He said it was, but one of the scariest things he'd ever done, but one of the best things he'd ever done. Is that
Yeah, it's intense.
okay?
Yeah.
So, so you can get now. So when you're going through it with the, are you then kind of you're like, oh my god, this is. Like, you're aware that this was really pretty wild, or
Yeah.
oh, okay, wow,
Yeah. I mean, like there's some points where you just get lost in it, but there's other points where you can recognize like I am in another dimension right now.
is your mind? Do you get the feeling like your mind is kind of out of control?
Your body, your mind, everything. Oh yeah.
Ooh. So if,
Yeah, it's
okay,
very intense.
okay, so I have control issues. So if I go into an MRI, I go nuts because what happens in my brain is I start thinking this is I really think what if there's an earthquake, everybody runs out of the building, my nose is right up against the top of the MRI, I can't get out. It's more of a control thing. I'm thinking I can't get myself out of this MRI. I can feel it happening to myself. So am I going to, like, if I did it, the control, like if my mind and body is out of control, am I going to be freaking out that I'm not in control?
Maybe,
Oh,
maybe not.
oh,
Yeah, like I wouldn't be able to tell you.
okay.
But if you resist it and you try to get out of it, like I know that's a recipe for disaster.
Oh, see, and that's me. That would be me. I'm feeling like my reaction is no, I'm in control. Like this whole what I kind of I guess I'm getting liking about what we're talking about is in my universe. I'm feeling like I control my universe. I think that's maybe one of the attractions I have for it.
Yeah, but also like that's a high level of attachment to control. Like you really don't control anything.
Right.
Like everything's just happening. Like even your idea of control is just an idea. So So yes, you have the ability to control how you're experiencing things more than anything because of the conversations in your head, but you really have really no control. Like it's all just happening. It's just experience evolving. Like there is control doesn't exist. That's another one of those
Right.
terms that has no actual
Okay.
true definition and meaning.
So you're talking not just with the ayahuasca. You're just talking life in general.
Life in
Okay.
general. But
Okay.
definitely with any hallucinogenic, right? Because LSD, psilocybin, they're all gonna do
All right.
the
So
same thing.
let's dig in us a little bit. So I now am starting to think that I am in control of my universe.
Mhm,
I'm really, but okay. So if somebody does something, I'm in
mhm.
control to decide whether I allow that to affect me or not. I am in control of that, right?
That's it though. Like you're not really in control of anything else. Like all and you're not even in control of the first idea that comes up based on that. What you can do is notice your conversation with whatever came up and based on that will be how you react and how that impacts you in the long run. But the idea that you can control everything, that's a total illusion. Like there is no such thing as control. There's only what's happening.
Okay. So something happens to me,
Mhm.
my that I don't like. My initial reaction could be, I don't like that. That's making me mad. Whatever. Is that
Mhm.
okay? So now I'm out of control of that. But now what I control is okay. Now how do I kind of regroup after that and control my
Yeah.
thoughts?
Like from there, you can be out of control and punch the person in the face.
Right.
Or you can decide I feel myself getting emotional in this way, which
Right.
equals anger, and
Right.
I'm going to breathe through it and I'm going to calm myself down
Right.
because it doesn't serve me to get angry. It doesn't change anything, right? So that's the only thing though that you have any even little bit of control over. You don't have control over anything else.
Okay. So, but okay, if I want to build muscle, I can go to the
Mhm.
gym. I can eat good foods. I'm in control of that kind
Mhm.
of stuff.
Yeah, you're in control of your ability to create discipline.
Okay. But then that's it.
But yeah, because like let's say that, for example, when I was working out a lot, I could deadlift like, I don't know, 300 and some pounds. I could squat 290 pounds. I
Right.
could leg press the whole stack,
Right.
and my muscles never really looked that ripped.
Right.
So can I control my muscles getting more ripped and growing more? No, all I can control is the discipline of doing it every day. But what actually happens in my body, like my muscle fibers can get really strong without me getting super defined. So I can control that.
Okay, so you can control the discipline of doing the exercise and the diet and everything, but what ultimately happens to your muscle,
And to your body and how it reacts, like you really don't have that much control over that.
really?
No.
I'm not doubting you when I say this. I trust you totally, but I guess I've kind of grown to feel like that's the opposite. That I because I'm disciplined, because I'm working hard, because I'm putting good foods in my muscle, my body, that I am controlling what happens to my muscle.
Sort of, but like the actual result that you get, like for example, I never had a super defined six
Okay.
pack. Yeah,
Right,
but I had 12% body fat, which is not that healthy for a girl. That's actually pretty low for a woman. And
right,
I still couldn't see my six. There's not much more that I could do to get that more defined because I was so strong already and I was doing so much already. Like, what more could I have done? Like,
yeah,
the discipline was there, the food was there, the conditions for me to create that was there, but like my body wasn't like it was getting much stronger, but it wasn't getting much more defined. Like
yeah.
so could I have controlled that? I mean, I was doing everything I could, but the results were my body, my muscle fibers can get a lot stronger without growing a lot more and getting much more defined.
Right,
So I can't control that. That's just what is. That's
right.
just the way it is. And I need to either accept that or reject that, but either way I can't change that.
All right. So the hard ass old farm boy hockey player has grown to believe that I can do anything because I have a discipline, work ethic, never quit, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
That's not really true.
I mean, it is true, but how it happens and when it happens You can't control that. All you can
Okay.
control is the actions that you do to make it happen.
Gotcha. Okay.
But the actual end result and how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen,
Okay. Gotcha.
it's
Okay.
just
I see.
that is a result of the actions that you're doing, but you have no control over the result. You only have control over the action,
Right.
the discipline, the reaction, not how it ends up. It's yeah, it's not so easy to
Okay.
understand,
No,
but
I'm getting better now. So the idea that, okay, I wanted to play in the NHL, maybe I wanted to play earlier, but the universe didn't decide it was time for me to play in the NHL at that point, right? So
yeah.
I did all the things I needed to do. It just wasn't time yet.
Yeah.
Hmm, okay.
And
And
as long as you still believe like I can do it,
right.
then you can do it. The second you think, "Oh, maybe I can't do it," then you can't do it.
Huh.
So that's what you can control. Like the fact that like if you believe the possibility exists and you know the possibility exists, then that's definitely something that's out in one of the many ways that the universe can move. But when and how, like that's not something you can control. You can only control your actions and what you're doing and your discipline to make something happen. But how exactly and when exactly and how the possibilities show up, like yeah.
Wow. It makes 30 sense. I guess I've just always, maybe it's a male ego or whatever. I always feel like, no, I'm in total charge. I am I am going to determine when it's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. This is when it's going to happen. Wow. Interesting.
I
Hmm.
mean, maybe you can if the universe can provide that, but like if
Right.
the opportunities can't be put into play in that way, then that's
Right.
just going to lead to disappointment.
Right.
Not because you can't do it, it's just because the way that you think you're going to do it isn't really the way that it's going to happen.
Right. So, but like you're saying too, right? It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. If you've done all the things that you should be doing for it to happen, it will still happen if it's meant to happen, but it may not happen when you want it to happen.
And it may not happen if it's not meant to happen.
Right. Well, that's the other part of it, right? If it's really see that, I think that in that statement right there, I think that's the part that I have a hard time with because I've grown up believing, no, I will make it happen. The fact that it isn't meant to happen isn't in somebody else's hands; it's in my hands. But you're saying,
But having that belief, there's nothing wrong with that though.
right,
That's the thing because it takes you having that belief to make it happen anyways.
right,
So that's the like I
right,
always thought I would be a race car driver. Like
yeah,
I was sure of it. And now I look back and there's no way. I had so much of an attitude issue. There's no way I could have made it as
right,
a race car driver. I mean, I threw a helmet at a 6'2" guy for flipping me in a car.
right,
Like they're not no one's gonna put up with that in at the professional level.
right, right. Huh, okay,
But I still did everything in my power to make it happen. I mean,
right,
like every cent that I had, I would spend in racing. I took as many coaching programs as I could. I would go to as many racing schools as I could. I would drive any car that anyone put in front of me that I got offered because, and I would go to NASCAR racers in the paddock and I would introduce myself as the first woman who's going to win a NASCAR race. I mean, I was
right,
dead set.
right.
But the universe had other plans.
Right.
Like if
And,
things moved in
here's the
different
interesting
directions.
thing. That doesn't mean you should have stopped doing what you were doing. Your drive to do it was still what you should have done.
Absolutely.
It just didn't work out.
Yeah, it just like it got to a point where there was nothing more that I could do.
Right. Okay. So
Because
then,
financially
right.
anyways.
So then, for people that old people or young people that are dreaming to do something. So, okay. So playing professional sports, being a race car driver, the odds are against you, right? I mean, there's lots of people want to be race car drivers. Lots of people want to play professional sports. And you'll, even if you don't think about what the odds being against you are, you still go through the process of doing everything you can to try to reach that goal. And then if you don't reach the goal, you still gain the knowledge that you can do all those things, right? That you can,
Absolutely. Like I don't regret 1 second of it. And I still think like everything turned out perfect. But with racing it's a little different because it's so expensive.
right,
Like I was at a point where one race would cost me $35,000 and I don't come from a family with a background of here you go have 35 grand to go race a 24-hour race
right,
in Daytona. Like
right,
it just wasn't but I still did everything in my power. I mean, I stretched it out as
right.
much as I could and I literally worked just so I could drive.
Right. So your belief then, okay, just that I'm kind of recapping it here, that if it's not meant to be, it's just not going to happen. Right.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's so many things have to
Right.
line up, and you don't have the ability to line all of that up. You can only do what you do and take advantage of every opportunity that gets put in front of you.
Right.
And it never means that you should give up, especially if there's something else that you can do. But sometimes it's just like you hurt yourself by continuing to put yourself in a position. Like, I could have gone into debt. I could have gotten credit cards and started racing with credit cards and then declared bankruptcy and done all that. But like, that wasn't something that was going to be beneficial to my life. And now I look back and it's perfect. Like, I still help young race car drivers when I'm in Florida, and I'm a coach, and I owned a racing school, and I did all kinds of fun things.
Right.
So I don't, but now that I look back, that was definitely not like where my
Right.
life was going to go.
It's even, I saw a great video where even discussing like you being born or me being born, like the process of making the exact Johanna or the exact Tom, like that's like 1,000,000,000 to 1 chance.
You're a miracle.
Yeah.
It's more than that. It's like 1,000,000,000,000 to 1.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally not supposed to be here.
Yeah. It is true, right? Yeah.
And if we see life that way, how amazing is it? Like, I
Yeah.
am a miracle of life.
Yeah.
Like, if you could think of yourself that way, it's
Totally.
magic.
Yeah. It's for people that don't know what we're saying. It's like, obviously you've got all these, you got the egg, you got all these sperm all floating around, and you may take something like millions and trillions of sperm floating around at that one.
Well, go even further back. Like, what are the odds that the earth has the conditions that it has for
Yeah.
life?
Yeah.
Like, even that, like,
Yeah.
had to be a miracle before we could even think of evolving into a space where we could house consciousness and control, be co-creators
Right.
of experience. Like, this is, like, we are freaking incredible. It's just that we don't use it for the right reason. Like,
Totally.
we do so much ugly stuff with it instead of being these powerful co-creators and collaborators that we can be when we actually celebrate all the unique, amazing things that each one of us can do.
Yeah. You think it's funny, like you look back at old movies and stuff with the Romans, like they got the gladiators, they got all the people, they feed them a bunch of wine and give them bread. I mean, they're all about controlling it, right? So all the leaders are all getting rich, and they're all a bunch of pedophiles and all this kind of stuff. They're doing whatever they want to do, and they're smart. They keep all the masses happy, give them bread. You see it in all movies.
Gladiator games. Give them
Yeah.
some gladiator games.
Right. And it's no different than
Really
goes on right
intense.
now, right? It's like the people that are wanting to make money. They're,
Yeah.
I know. Oh God.
But that's why you live in your own bubble, and then none of that affects you,
Yeah,
and none of
totally.
that controls you. And
Well,
like,
see, that's a great point. So you've got all this stuff going on. You say to yourself, it pisses me off. All these politicians and all these people making money and all this kinds of stuff. But then you think, well, okay, I can't do anything about it. It's not going to change.
And if you can do something about it, then do something about
Yeah.
it instead of thinking about it.
Yeah, totally. It's funny stuff. So I'm not in control of everything in my life, man. Seriously, I mean this in a very good way. Kind of burst my bubble a little bit. Like I really have felt, as much as I've learned stuff from you and others along the way here, I still really did believe that I was in total control of everything I do. And so I still have control, but to a limited extent, right? It's like
Over yourself.
over myself.
Like, that's the thing. Like, what you can control is yourself. You can
Right.
control, and no, not everyone can do it, because if you've lived in a space where your thoughts have controlled you for a long time, learning to control yourself and your thoughts and your discipline, it's hard,
Right.
because it takes work for you to unlearn the habits that have led for you not to be in control, right?
Right.
But once you start to understand how your thoughts are what's controlling how you're seeing everything around you and how you're
Sure.
experiencing everything around you, and you shift that, then you shift a lot of how you feel, a lot of how you think, a lot of your emotions.
And for people that have been in that comfort zone, they may not even realize there's a better way out there, right? Like there's a better life to have.
And it may be okay. And if they're happy in their
Yeah,
comfort zone, then that's great as well, But if there's an inkling of there's got to be more than this, then
right,
there's some searching there and some questioning there. And it starts with questioning who you are,
right.
why you are the way you are, why you do the things that you do, why you react the way that you react to things, like, and it takes a lot of looking inward. And I
Right,
think a lot of us don't like doing that work
right.
because we
Well,
see shadows that we don't want to
and
look at.
it's so easy just to turn the TV on or get in front of your computer instead of turning that off. I mean, I think the computer's okay because it is a source of knowledge. You can research things and everything. That it's been for me where, like, actually, what I think one of the greatest things about the computer is the whole algorithm thing. So once I start studying something, now you get more stuff coming your way, and that's really been interesting for me. Like, I'll be like at night, I'll turn TV off and I'll start getting on the computer and I'll get stuff and go, wow, I really never thought about it that way. So it's
Yeah, the bad thing is if you believe something, it also says you are right,
yeah,
right? Because the
yeah,
algorithm then shows you how you're right. And
yeah,
then that makes people who not be open-minded either because
yeah,
then all the information they're getting. So there's ups and downs to everything. It's like you said, it's how you use it that
right,
matters, right? The TV is not bad if you're looking at documentaries and learning
yes,
things, but
yeah,
if you're mindlessly trying to numb yourself,
yeah,
it's terrible. Alcohol isn't horrible if you go
yeah,
out and have one drink because you're celebrating something. But if you have to have a drink every day when you get home from work because you can't stand your work, that's an issue, right? So
I tell you, the alcohol thing for me, I laugh at myself. Like I've removed alcohol for like 2 years now, and I'm thinking, what was I doing even? Like it just made no sense. It was one of those things where I was clearly in a comfort zone where I wasn't even going out. I had a rule. I didn't want to be out in public drinking. I had all the mental health stuff I do and everything. I didn't want to be out of control. So there's no public drinking. Obviously didn't drink and drive. The only time I drank is when I'd be at home. Like I'd go sit in my back deck and God, yes, I'm going, and I stopped and I go, what the heck were you doing? Like, it just made no sense. It was a waste of a lot of things. So, yeah.
yeah. But then again, like it took you going through that and
Yeah.
seeing that to understand that.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're right.
it's
That was actually a great learning process for me. Like the whole process of like, why was I doing it? Just, and you know what? One of the biggest things, and again, I want to be careful because you know this better than I do. People are addicted. They have addiction issues. There's chemical issues and all that kinds of stuff. For me, it was easier to just say, I'm just not going to do it. And I tried to really minimize how big of a deal it was to just say, okay, I'm just not doing it anymore. But again, not everybody could do that. I want to be clear. But I think sometimes we do exaggerate how big of a problem it is for some people who just, they don't have an addiction to it. They just do it out of habit, right? So,
yeah, and the thing is, like, that part's hard too, because like if you look at the definition of an alcoholic, it's someone who has to drink every day. But
yeah,
it's not the amount, it's
yeah,
whether or not they have to do it every day. So even if it's one drink, like you can be an alcoholic if you have one drink and you all you think about is that one drink,
yeah,
and if you don't have the one drink, like that's still an issue, even if you're not a drunk, right? So it's such a weird thing. Like, yes, there is a habit and there is a problem, a disease, but there's such a thin line that
yeah,
divides one from the other. And what makes the difference is, can I say today no and be okay with it
right.
and keep living my life? Like that's what makes it
Yeah.
tougher for some people than others, and where now sometimes people need help, and that's okay too.
And don't you think that part about loving yourself is a big part of it too? Like once you like, if you really love yourself, like physically, like then you work out, you put good foods in, you drink your water, you get your sleep. You're mentally, you love yourself, so you don't want to have bad people, negative people around you. You don't want to be thinking about bad thoughts all the time. Like if you, yeah, I think, and maybe okay, so that's like to me, like why? How does somebody get to the point where they don't love themselves? Is it a lot of trauma over years, or
Oh, there's so many things that can trigger that, like trauma is definitely one. Like
right?
the relationship that you have with your parents and what they
Yeah,
tell you about yourself has such an impact on how you see yourself as you get older. Like and it establishes this way of you looking at yourself. And And sometimes we don't realize like, oh, I think that way because my mom used to say that or because my father used to say that. And yeah, it
Right.
trauma is a big one. Like we are not taught how to
Yeah.
deal with trauma,
Yeah.
and parents aren't taught how to not create trauma for their children. And there's generational trauma and there's stereotypical trauma where like you are from a certain, for example, I'm part owner or partners in a magazine, which you know, Latin Business Today.
Sure.
And sometimes like they ask questions like, has it made it hard to do X, Y, or Z because you are a woman and a Latino? And for me specifically, like I've never thought that things have been harder for me. If anything, I've gotten benefits from it. So I like for me, it's hard to put myself in that situation,
Right.
but it's because I never established that stereotype of, oh, women have less opportunities or Hispanics get looked down upon for X, Y, or Z. Like I never let that sink into my head. So for me, I've never seen it as a problem because I didn't think it was a problem.
Sure.
So of course I didn't experience it as
Right.
a problem.
Right.
But it's but again, I know a lot of people that have. So it's one of those things where again, your thoughts really help shape how you
Right.
see the things that happen to you.
So the stuff we're talking about now, the whole ayahuasca, is that how you say it properly? Ayahuasca, or
Mhm,
what? Does that help? Like, is that if people do have those issues, that'll
mhm.
help them. Okay.
Yeah, it can. Absolutely. I can't say it will for sure, but it
Yeah,
can.
it's got
Yeah.
possible. And so, if people have you, how many people got signed up for yours so far?
We have about 6 signed up,
Okay.
but it's in October of next year,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
literally just started
And if somebody
advertising.
wants to get a hold of you to discuss it, as you said before, they can contact you on Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah,
Your
they can call me 815-501-5070. You can always give me a call. Would love to chat.
I'll tell you, it's one of those things too. I can't believe, like 5 years ago, I would never have had this conversation with you. I'd be like, "What is wrong? Like ayahuasca? Like, what am I going to do? Hug a tree or something like that?" Like, right? But
You might want to hug a tree.
actually, you know what's funny? I have read more about hugging a tree, how it's very healthy for you, right? With the whole
Yeah.
nature thing and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean, grounding is a thing, and
I
it's
know. Yeah.
definitely powerful. Like,
And that is the one problem, right? And I'm sure everybody means well, they want to help others, but there's so many different like whether it's mental or physical or foods or whatever. It's almost like, okay, I have to pick and choose. I can't do everything that everybody's talking about. I can't do all the
well, like what speaks to you, right?
yeah,
Like some things will speak to you and some others won't.
yeah,
Like for me, sound healing has been very powerful. And people say, well, how does sound healing work? And then I just put water in one of the bowls. And when I start playing it, you see the vibration messing around with the water. I'm like, okay, well, you're 70% water. So if it's doing that to this water, what do you think it's doing to your water? Right. So for me, that's easy to explain. For people, once they see it, it's easier to understand, but it may not speak to them to lie there for an
right,
hour having people playing bowls on top
right,
of them, right? So like it's just it's something piques your attention and it piques your
right.
curiosity. Like look into it and see how it's affected other people and see if it's something that might work for you, because like I'm not saying ayahuasca is the way to go. Like you have DMT already in your body. There's meditation techniques and breathing techniques that can help activate that without having to take a piece of a plant to make it happen, you know? So I'm like nothing is for everyone,
Sure.
and not everything is for everyone either,
But
right? But there's
kind of to your point though too is, but if you obviously if you don't believe in it at all, then the chances of it working are very slim. But
none.
if you do
Yeah,
believe it, that's half the battle to having it help you. Right.
exactly. But
That's
it's one of those things where it may help you anyways, right? Because like just because you don't believe in gravity doesn't mean that gravity isn't supporting you staying grounded on earth, right?
yeah.
So there's certain things that are going to work even if you don't actually believe it.
All right. So I believe, and I think you do. So we are a soul inside this body. Once you're gone. Oh, I know what. Oh man, have you got lots of time?
No, go for it.
Oh,
I got time.
I had one of the most meaningful conversations with another male that I've ever had in my whole life. So I had an old teammate of mine. I'll be careful with his name. That I played with in Los Angeles. His wife passed away about 2 weeks ago. She had cancer, 62 years old. He was a hard, like legitimate farm boy Canadian guy with a ranch, 1,100 acres, cattle. So he's a hard man, right? And I'd heard that we hadn't talked, we were roommates actually together in Los Angeles, hadn't talked in like 30, 35 years. And I'd heard that his wife passed away. So I gave him a call figuring, okay, it would be, a 10-minute conversation. How are you doing? Sorry to hear about your wife. But I was really, we got into, as much as it was sad, we got into talking about the stuff we're talking about, that he brought it up about the fact that his wife had moved, how do you phrase that, had moved on, or but basically he believed in the fact that she was a soul, and that it just happened to be issues in that body, and the way he had 3 grown kids. So when they had like 5 or 6 months knowing that it was terminal, so they all came home, they were home with her, she stayed in the house. So they really treated that last 5 or 6 months of this not like a sad time, although they're going to miss their mother and wife, but it's more like it was really incredible the way he talked about it. It's like they knew that she was just going to move on. They weren't going. They're not losing her necessarily, and some people think it's a little weird, but he slept in the bed with her right until the point where she passed away, and she passed away in the middle of the night. He stayed with her because and then they had to come out and get the funeral home came and took her away. And he was very open. It was great listening to him talk. Like he even looked at her body as they were taken away, and he realized that was not his wife anymore, that she was gone. And it was incredible. Like again, it'd be one of those things that I told him this. I said, Dean, if we'd had this, what's his name? But if we'd had this conversation 5 years ago, I would have had the conversation. But it was really interesting to hear him talk.
That's so beautiful.
Oh, it was incredible.
Yeah, and it shows you, right? Because that's going to determine how he experiences this loss. Like he's not going to go through the grief other people go through because of what he believes that happened, and that's how much our beliefs determine how we experience things. It's incredible.
Yeah, it was almost like, again, it was again, he lost his wife, but it was almost like a great experience. He viewed it as that
there's a peace there.
Yeah, like he was able to say goodbye to her and spend time with her and all that. So it was, but I got off the call after about an hour and a half. First of all, I couldn't believe we talked for an hour and a half about this stuff. And I think he was the same way because I don't think he's had other people that feel the way he's feeling. So it was, man, it was. I almost forgot to talk about that because I was thinking of you when we were having a conversation. I'm thinking, man, this is like it was almost like one of those things that never would have thought with another hockey player would have had this conversation.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was like, oh my God. Yeah. It's actually pretty emotional when it was got done. It was like,
I bet.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's cool to think of life like that. Yesterday I was talking to my best friend, and when she would go to India, her teacher in India would do these past life regressions with her. And we were talking about how we think of past lives as actually something happening in the past, but time is a construct, like past, present, future. It's all one thing, and it's just one happening. So these lives could be happening literally at the same time that you're already in another life. So we were talking about how crazy it is to think of things in that way, because she said one of the things that she saw was a little boy chewing his nails, and that a few days ago she saw her son doing it, and she was like, oh my God, like I've already seen this.
Right.
And it was a past life regression, but it hadn't happened yet. So it's intense.
See, I'd say that's one of the things I think happening. Maybe I wasn't paying attention before, but I think it's happened to me more and more often, where coincidences like that with this conversation player that I never would have had that conversation before. Now all of a sudden I feel this way. Now I'm having, like, as you know, like, these things keep coming into my life more. Like now I've opened up my mind. So yeah.
Because you attract that vibration. So people feel comfortable talking to you because that's the vibration they're on, and they feel, whether they know it or not, that's the vibration that you're on.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when they say that you are the average of the 5 people that you're surrounded by, it has nothing to do with money or success. It has everything to do with vibration. And yes, that may equal money and success, but it's
Right.
more like if you're with a bunch of people that are always gossiping and doing all that, like how happy can you be around those people, you know?
I know.
But if you're not having a good day, but everyone around you is super upbeat and super, then they're gonna lift your
Right.
spirits. Like
Right.
it's just the way it is.
It's true. Even at this gym where we got this gym in our complex where I am, and there's these two gentlemen that come in. I was gonna say older gentlemen. I'm older than they are. Uh, I know, but they come in every day, and we seem to have. It's interesting. We have the same. Like they're very disciplined, coming in every day, have the same thoughts about life in general and everything. So yeah, it just seems to happen like you're so over and over again. I know. Yeah, man. Like I see. That's the thing. Like now. And I've said this many times to you, like 7 years ago, you started saying this to me, and I was like, "What the heck is she talking about?" And now it's more like, "Oh, okay." Now, and
That
it's,
was the seed, Tom. You needed the seed.
oh, I definitely is. But isn't it interesting? Do you? I'm sure you do too. What I've learned, you don't know everything. You think you know all this stuff, and then you start learning more stuff. You're going, "Wow, I didn't." And it's kind of cool, right? That you keep on learning more stuff about it. So, yeah,
Yeah, like you're always just scratching the surface of
yeah,
things. And
yeah,
you like no matter how much you think you know, like there's always so
yeah,
much depth that you
yeah.
can just keep
Well,
learning and keep growing.
yeah, just the whole conversation we had today about that control issue. I really didn't look at it that way. And then we have a conversation about it. Yeah, it makes sense. Totally. So very cool. All right, there, Puerto Rican princess. Again, anybody wants to get a hold of the great Johanna Godinez. And
Godinez.
one more time with your phone number, people can call you.
815-501-5070.
Good. And I highly recommend just having a conversation with her is fantastic. But even this retreat they're going on in October, have a conversation, see if it fits for you. Be a great opportunity. So maybe I'll do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I
Be
know,
an
right?
honor to have you.
All right, sweetie. Great to see you again.
You too. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.